मैं मेरा स्लाइड प्रेजेंटेशन एक वीडियो चेक कर लेता हूँ.
Please, sir. So we'll start your session at 9. Before
Yeah,
that, we'll be presenting yesterday's program report and thought of the day,
sure,
and we'll
sure,
introduce you. After that, we will request you to start your session.
sure. I hope you are able to see the title
Yes,
slide.
yes, sir. Your title slide is visible, sir.
Okay, number 2.
Yes, sir. Outline
Okay,
is
good.
also visible.
I will check now the video.
Spoon in my mouth. I know. I was born in Fallsby, West Virginia.
Sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay,
Audio is
audio.
clear. Yes,
Yeah, audio is fine, video is okay, right?
it is perfectly fine, sir.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, with your permission, I'd like to start this session.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. So, friends, we are really privileged to have Dr. Manu Vora, sir, with us. He's a renowned educationalist from US, and today to deliver important talk on innovative pedagogy and effective assessment for NEP 2020 implementation. I welcome, sir, on my understanding.
thank you.
On behalf of all the participants of Faculty Induction Program 15 and 16. So, sir, we'd like to start the day with thought of the day, and I'd like to introduce you Mufti Clarence. He's our day officer today, and he will be introducing you after the day proceedings. So, Dr. Mufti Clarence, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm here. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. Our resource person
Yeah.
has joined us, and with his permission, we are starting this proceedings. So kindly start the day with thought of the day.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. And I believe that the Vice Chancellor of the province of our university is
He will
around.
join us around 9.
Okay. Okay. So, may I request everyone to compose ourselves and feel the presence of divine for a few seconds and ask his blessings as we begin the day, that he may guide us and give us the needed blessings that our day may be fruitful.
Dr. Mukti, I think there is some network issue.
Yeah, it's okay. So, thought for a day is that journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So the step that we take today, I think that will take us further. So now may I ask the rapporteur
Very nice. What I
to
add, Mukti, there is a
yeah.
couplet in Urdu शायरी that मैं अकेला ही चला था जानी भी मगर लोग जुड़ते गए और काफिला बनता गया.
Wow, wow. Thank you. Well said. Good, good. So I think with this nice thought of positivity and hope, we can begin the day, so that the day may be of a learning. So may I request the rapporteur to tell us something in brief about the yesterday's learning.
Dr. Mukti, yesterday was Pakam N. Shah and Anjali Chaudhary. They were the day officers.
Yes. May I ask them to just brief us?
Good morning, everyone. Shah sir is there because he was the rapporteur for session 15, FIP 15.
I'm here. Am I audible? Oh, okay.
Yes,
A
you
very
are
good
audible.
morning to all the participants of FIPs
Yes, sir.
15 and FIP 16. Myself, Dr. Kulapam Nasruddin Shah, Assistant Professor, Department of Horticulture, Hemwati Nandan Bahuna Agarwal University, Uttarakhand. Today, I'm presenting the report of the day 10th of FIP 15, which was held yesterday. As we talk about yesterday, as usual, there was 4 sessions. The program was started very beautifully by the day officer, Dr. Anki Haldar Madam, by welcoming the resource person of session 1 and 2, Dr. Saurav Agrawal Sir, on data analysis through SPSS. Actually, the first session was a continuation of hands-on training on different statistical data analysis through our project software, which was conducted on 28 February 2023. During the session, Dr. Agrawal sir taught us about how to analyze independent sample t-test, peer t-test, one sample t-test, ANOVA, and chi-square test. Also, he tell us how to interpret them in our research writing. During the second session, Dr. Agrawal sir again gave us the hands-on training on some basic statistical data analysis through SPSS software. After that, we all have a 45 minutes lunch break. After lunch, there is 1:45 p.m. The third session was started by a profound resource person, Professor Gurcharan Singh, Punjab University, on the topic how to motivate or boost student engagement in virtual classroom. During that session, Professor Singh educated us what is e-learning, its significance, benefits, and drawbacks. He also described the different users of the virtual classroom, such as the presenter and the participants, and what facilities the presenter should offer the participant to make the virtual classroom more participatory. By performing live demonstration with the participant, Professor Singh also demonstrated numerous methods of engaging students during online. He also tells us how to differentiate engaged student and disengaged during virtual classroom. After that, we had a small break of tea breaks. After tea break, that means on the fourth session, Professor Singh described the various online classroom techniques like how to do active learning, cooperative learning, quick writes, reciprocal teaching, personalized learning, project-based learning, etc. He also advised us that as a teachers, we must adhere to certain norms such as daily room changes, show and tell session, etc. And Professor, as a final note, Professor Gurcharan Singh showed us a video of Steve Jobs, CEO and co-founder of Apple, encouraging Stanford University graduates to pursue their aspiration and find the chances in life obstacles, including death itself. Thank you, everyone. And over to you, Mukti sir.
Yeah, thank you, Kulkapan. And now may I ask Dr. Anjali Chaudhary.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Anjali Chaudhary from Department of Biotechnology, Career College, Bhopal. I was the reporter for the session 2nd March 2023. And the day officer for that session was Miss Anki Haldar. I would like to start with the session 1 and 2 was taken up by the resource person, Professor Saurabh Agarwal, sir, on the topic data analysis through SPSS. The 7th day of the faculty development program has been started at 9:45 a.m. by Haldar ma'am with a powerful thought of Swami Vivekanand ji that all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. After that, she invited Mr. Indranil Sena from FIP 15 and Mr. Tanaji from FIP 16 to read previous day report. Then she introduced the resource person of the session. Agarwal sir, first of all, appreciated all the participants for submitting the assignment well on time and then started by giving the exercises to the participants on the previous day session was art programming. After that, he emphasized on the use of art programming for statistical analysis, which will be very useful for the researchers in research paper writing and their work. In the next session, he explained the use of SPSS and encouraged participants to ask questions. And from that session, participants learn the useful tools and that tools helps them to improve the quality of their research. He very patiently answered their queries. The entire session was very interactive and important for the quality research. Post lunch session, session 3rd and 4th, resource person was Professor Gurucharan Singh sir, and his topic was how to boost student engagement in online virtual classrooms. In this session, sir explained how motivation can boost students' participation during online classes. He started his talk with the limitations of virtual classroom. Then he emphasized on facilities provided by presenter interface and participant interface. Then he has given some tips how we can engage them effectively. Then he differentiated very well between the engaged and disengaged students. We have learned few methodologies which we can incorporate for online teaching, and I want to mark few of them are how to motivate student as it is a very powerful tool. Then types of teaching learning methods like cooperative learning, participative learning, project based learning, etc. Singh sir also emphasized the importance of personalized learning and reciprocal learning so that we can engage engage the participants very well during the class. And then during the session, he randomly selected some participants and created groups to interact with each other. Throughout the session, short video clippings were used to make the topic more understandable, and there were various activities to keep them engaged. Overall, it was very informative and interactive session, and I'm sure all the participants learned and enjoyed a lot. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir. Mukti, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Anjali.
Okay, thank you, Anjali ji, and thank you, Shah sir. So our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N.K. Joshi sir, have also joined us. I welcome Professor N.K. Joshi, Vice Chancellor of Kumar Nainital, under his visionary leadership. We are progressing to new heights. Namaskar sir, good morning sir.
Good morning.
Honorable Vice Chancellor sir is already joined us. Good morning sir. A few seconds back, I just got a call from Vice Chancellor, sir. So he would like to join this session, and I would like to welcome Manu Vora, sir. So we'll just wait for 1 minute. just joining. Actually, I'm given him time at 9 p.m. that we'll start Manu sir's talk at 9 p.m. Sorry, 9 a.m. So Manu sir, I'd like to inform you that and it's our daily practice that we start the day with a thought, so we could have positive vibes throughout the day. And after that, we just recall yesterday's program, what happened, and then we start. So Vice Chancellor sir has joined us. Good morning, sir. Pranam, sir. Professor N.K. Joshi, Honorable Vice Chancellor Kumayanuddin Anital has joined this program. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of all the participants this program. Good morning, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, sir, we welcome you. I welcome you on behalf of all the participants of Faculty Induction Program 15 and 16. And we all are eagerly waiting for you. Earlier, actually, this program was started on 25th, sir. And we all would like to have a few words from you also. So, sir, today Dr. Manu Vora sir has joined us, and we know that he's a renowned educationalist, and he's a who have delivered many talks in 36 countries across 5 continents, and we are really privileged to have him here, sir. And we are really grateful to him that he spared his valuable time for us. So I request you to please welcome Manu sir and say a few words for our participants also. Professor N.K. Joshi, Honorable Vice Chancellor.
Thank you, Ritesh. Our today's speaker, Dr. Manu K. Vora, our Assistant Director, HRDC, all the distinguished participants attending this induction program. First of all, I'm sorry I could not meet you earlier because I was busy in some other program. Yesterday we are having some program with our Honorable Governor also. Last week we are having some other program. So I thought this is the right time to meet you virtually. So in fact, first of all, I would like to welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Manu Vora ji.
Thank you.
In fact, Dr. Manu Vora, he is currently he is chairman and president Business Excellence in USA since 2000, and he is having 48 years leadership experience guiding Fortune 500 companies, 30 years as adjunct faculty globally in operations management, and he contributed at 680 educational institutions worldwide and delivered 1,260 presentations and published more than 75 articles. He designed and delivered soft skill program at over 1.1 million people, appointed Fulbright specialists, U.S. Department of State from 2016 to 2023. And when we talk about the medals, 6 medals for quality and 4 medals for philanthropy from 2000 to 2015 has been awarded. 60 awards for outstanding professional contribution has been awarded. So in fact, we are very thankful to Professor Manu Vora. He joined today, and he agreed to deliver a talk to our distinguished participant. And I also welcome all the distinguished participants. You joined this program from the different part of the country. In fact, I would like to discuss you some other issues also. I would like to give a presentation on some other topic. But today I am out of Nainital, so next time we will be definitely discussing some relevant topic regarding this particular program. Maybe we can talk about the ICT enabled area. My area is
is the computer application and information technology. So sometime we can, if I get some time, I will request our assistant director and program director of this particular program, Dr. Shah, to discuss about this thing. And as you know that in Kumaon University, we have already implemented this NEP 2020 from this current, from this session 22-23. And our examinations are over, and we would also like to share our experiences, because we have most of the participants, they are from the very reputed universities, colleges. We have the participant. So I would like to share my experiences as Kumaon University, what challenges we got here while adopting this this national education policy 2020 in Kumaon University and the entire state of Uttarakhand. And as far as this NEP is concerned, we have implemented this NEP in all the undergraduate program from 2022-23. And now this year, from the current academic year 23-24, we are planning to implement this NEP in this PG program also. And I would like to share you in this NEP. We have given emphasis on multidisciplinary courses. We have given emphasis on vocational courses, and we have given emphasis on this Indian tradition knowledge. As far as the objective of the NEP is concerned, the basic objective is on multidisciplinary, the number one. Number two is regarding the vocational courses. Number three is regarding the Indian traditional knowledge. So as far as the vocational courses is concerned, what we did in Kumaon University and in the entire state, we put in our curriculum four vocational courses in a UG program, and each this vocational course will be having 3 credit. It means after completion of this graduation, each and every student, they have to earn 12 credit under this vocational courses. And as far as the Indian traditional knowledge is concerned, we have adopted very important courses like Vedic mathematics, where the Indian traditional knowledge. We are having Vedic science. We are having these type of courses, and the management paradigm through Bhagavad Gita. These type of courses we adopted here. And apart from this, our Kumaon University is also doing a lot of things regarding our culture, our Indian languages, basically on Sanskrit, Kumaoni and Gadwari languages. There we are also taking care in our NEP. So I won't take much time, because today we have our speaker, Dr. Manu is there. So Dr. Manu, we are very thankful to you. You accepted our invitation to be part of this faculty development program. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you.
Thanks so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your address. Now I'd like to request Dr. Mukti Clarence, today's officer. Please welcome, sir. And after that, we'll request him to start his presentation.
Okay. So I have a pleasant task to introduce the speaker of the day, Dr. Manu Vora. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Kumaon University, Professor N.K. Joshi, Dr. Pritesh Shah, the coordinator of the induction program, and our revered speaker of the day. So Dr. Manu Vora got his degree in chemical engineering from IIT Banarasi, that is Hindu University, then MS and PhD again in chemical engineering, IIT Chicago. And as our Vice Chancellor also spoken about him, that he is a man who has held the different position of a leadership. And also he was a member of AICT New Education Policy Implementation Plan Committee 2020, an expert peer reviewer in AICT Atal Academy FDP programs 2021 and 22. And he holds the position of a member of AICT Atal Academy FDP's Redesigning Committee 2020. Currently, he is in US And I think that is one of the reasons that we are having this program pre-scheduled. And also he's a researcher, more than 75 articles that he has written, and a guide and mentor and thinker. He has delivered that TED Talks in different occasions. He's also been recognized as a one who is involved in the community service. A thinker who has a long experience in academics, who's been given a recognition of his achievement, and therefore we are privileged to have him, who's going to speak to us on innovative pedagogy and effective assessment for NEP 2020. So we are really privileged. So over to Dr. Manu Vora, and we are eagerly waiting to hear from you.
Thank you, Dr. Mukti, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Joshi ji, Dr. Ritesh Shah, all the distinguished faculty who have joined in this great program from UGC, HRDC at Kumaon University. So my greetings and very good morning to all of you. Today's topic is very relevant to all of us as a faculty, that we as a faculty come to this discipline with the internal motivation to prepare our students and make them responsible citizens and future leaders of India. So don't take this responsibility very lightly. You've made a commitment and you need to be excellent in all the things you do, whether it's teaching, research, publication, patents, etc. So today's focus is how do we empower all the faculty to be the best they are capable of being. So let me share my presentation at this point. And I have built in several interactions throughout the presentation. Now, if the voice allows us, audio is okay, we can open the microphone one at a time only, and rest of you should turn off your video and audio so that bandwidth is preserved. And when time comes, we'll have the interaction, few people volunteering to give me some key takeaways of the segment we have just covered. So kindly help us to make it as interactive as we can in this online mode. So the roadmap for this morning's session is, I will begin with some major challenges we face in higher education in India, and all of you are very aware about it. I just want to throw some light on it and what can be done. Point was mentioned about Indian education system, where we want to bring in the Indian ethos and our knowledge system going back to the old days. So value education is very important. And then I'll focus on innovative pedagogy, first addressing the issue of how do we engage the learners and the students in the classroom, effective teaching learning processes, and special focus on soft skills in curricula. Then segue into effective assessments, so continuous comprehensive assessment rather than midterm or end term exams. And I'm bringing my 30 years of experience as an adjunct faculty and walk you through the last stage, which is AICTE NEP 2020 implementation plan guidance. Some good references, and we are in a treat with an excellent motivational talk by famous football coach, American football coach Lou Holtz here in the US. And I would request all of you to write down at least 2 key takeaways from today's morning session, because we go to listen to many of these presentations, but if we don't take away 1 or 2 critical areas which we would like to work on, the time we have spent is not fruitful enough. So kindly keep an eye on key takeaways from the session towards the end. So let's begin with some higher education challenges in India. So the government data shows that with 6,000 engineering and technology institutions. About 3 million students are enrolled. And this was published by India Today, updated in 2018. So numbers could be slightly different in the current scenario. According to the source, 1.5 million engineers enter the job market every year, million from engineering, and rest come from polytechnic and diploma granting institutions. Interestingly, a Delhi-based company by name Aspiring Minds conducted a survey of 150,000 engineering students, and they could find only 7% were able to hold the core engineering jobs. Only 7%, and it's a large sample. So what's the bottom line? Our graduates are not being skilled enough to be productive part of the Indian economy. And I was just reading up in Times of India, the unemployment is hovering around 7.5 to 8%. In the urban setting, in the rural setting is even higher. So the challenge is before us. Are we creating graduates who have the right skills to tackle all the challenges in the global economy and compete globally? If we don't do that, we are not doing service to our nation, to our students, by not preparing them well. Now, I want to draw a contrast. The current state of affairs in general in most of the institutes in India versus the desired state on the right side. And I will just focus on key issues around 6 themes. One is the learning method, then academic curriculum, quality of education, faculty knowledge, industry participation, and alumni engagement. So we have been unfortunately wedded to the British system of memorizing and vomiting. Students memorize things and vomit it in the final or midterm exams, and then they forget what they have learned or what they can retain. So that method of rote learning and dry theory needs to be changed to inquiry-based learning and learn from the best-in-class practices. Our curricula needs to be updated to meet with the current industry needs. And one of the major gap is lack of soft skills in curricula, and I'll expand on it a little bit later in the presentation. I come from the quality discipline, so quality of education needs to include both at system and at the curricula level, quality in all aspects. Faculty must have some industry experience. Either they have worked in the industry before they join in the academia. And I was very fortunate, after 18 years of industry experience, I started teaching, and that gave me a leg up working with the working professionals to give them the best knowledge I could give them. And otherwise, if you are working without any industry experience, you can do some consulting with the industry and learn by doing things with the team of students and solve some industry issues. And one of the basic rule of thumb for faculty is we should be the lifelong learners. I just completed 77 years last October, and currently at this stage, I continue to read in my discipline of business management, Harvard Business Review, MIT Sloan Management Review, McKinsey and Company, Forbes, Inc., etc. So every day I'm learning something new and keep integrating that in the courses I teach, both here as well as around the world. Industry participation is generally lacking. We can invite the people from the industry to come on the advisory board at the department level, at the college or the university level. And the last thing where we have the major gap is we do not respect our alumni. Compared to that, in the Western world, they put alumni on the pedestal, and these alumni bring in tremendous resources, not just financial, but the knowledge needed in terms of updating the curricula, bringing some research projects to benefit them as an industry, as well as bring some work for the university, colleges, etc. So we need to respect them, we need to recognize them, and thankful to them for the time, talent, and energy they bring in at the academic level. So focus should be moved from the current state to the desired state. Now at this point, I'll stop sharing and we'll have some interaction in terms of what did we learn in this segment. So I'll need one or two one volunteer at a time, raise your hand, open the microphone, and tell me any additional thoughts you may have. And we'll have to move quickly because there is a presentation with the rest of the item I wanted to cover. Anyone? And if nobody speaks up, then I'll request the organizer, Dr. Mukti, Dr. Ritesh ji, to give their part of the comment. Dr. Mukti ji.
Yeah, I really like the way you started. The first thing that about the alumni, that sometimes we undermine their importance. So something that really touched me, that which is ignored things in our system, particularly in India, and also that as opposed to the rote learning, that means a critical thinking, something bringing in new. So I think that was something very relevant and the need for the hour.
Thank you, Dr. Mukti. One more volunteer before we move on.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please go ahead, Anita ji.
The emphasis on industry collaborations, I feel, is the need of the hour, so that we are able to understand what's happening around us. And the idea that faculty can do consultancies with industries is a logical point.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what we need to think about is first look for our alumni and see if they are placed in the industry, bring them in. So they are bringing two sets of a positive thing. One, they have a positive outlook for the institute since they are the graduate from there, as well as they bring in the industry experience and they can bring in other experts with them. All this thing requires having a simple pathway set up, no more bureaucracy. Have a simple pathway, have a coordinator to coordinate these things and execute and keep propagating these ideas within the college, within the university, and that will bring in very, very positive impact for the institution. We need to start thinking out of the box. If we keep doing the same thing again and again, we can't expect any further change. And keep in mind that NEP 2020 is a major transformation journey. It cannot be done the way we have done in the past 100 to 150 years. So we need to radically shift our thinking. Thank you so much, Anita ji. Okay, in the interest of time, allow me to move and we will have enough time for doing further discussion. So let me come back on the presentation. Now, let's talk a little bit about value education in India. So I want to remind you that if we remember the olden days, the Gurukul system, where whether a person was a king or a commoner, they will all go to the same place, work with the revered gurus, do all the things needed to be done, including learn new education, get the education, learn many different things, and do all the chores, and do it on an equal basis. Now, that kind of character building, we need to start thinking about what can we impart to our students to make them responsible citizens of India so that they can represent India at the world stage. So the key values we need to start focusing for their character building are the ethics, honesty, integrity, compassion for others, nonviolence and practice of truth, respect for elderly, respect for the environment, and reverence for the teachers, and instill the spirit of collaboration and cooperation rather than the competition and cutting people down. If we are successful in imparting these values to our students at the India scene, I think it will create a tremendous change. Currently, it's all materialistic flow. When students enter top schools, their focus is how big the package I'll be receiving for placement. And a lot of time there is a cheating going on. They don't prepare well, copy from somebody else. So all those things needs to be changed, and the faculty can lead them by giving them proper guidance, mentor them, and create the best citizens we are capable of creating. So at this point, let's talk a little bit about this Indian ethos and value system, which is very much needed in today's environment and is lacking, and it's creating problem everywhere in India. So new volunteers would welcome at least one volunteer who can talk about these issues if they have done something in that at their college or universities. So kindly raise your hand or unmute and state your name and the college or the university you are with. Okay, looks like we have a volunteer here.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I think one of the major challenge in the higher education system is faced by the students. They are not aware about the surroundings, their situations. So I think one of the great role of the teachers is that connecting the classroom with the community. They are only learn only from the syllabus and only from the classrooms.
Yeah, excellent point, Professor Catherine. So one of the things I have been professing for a long time, that in India we are missing out on one opportunity, that is to engage our students in community service. Now, those who are privileged to enter the higher education system, if they can devote at least 2 hours per every weekend for 8 months, that will add up to almost 16 billion hours of community service when you add it up for the entire higher education system in India. Now, what can be done? As you mentioned, that the student needs to be connected with the community. So under the guidance of a faculty, a teams of students can go to the community, find out what the real challenges they are facing, whether it's education, healthcare, water, sanitation, agriculture, etc., and try to set up a project and work in the team, bring in some industry expert, use corporate social responsibility funding as well, and solve society's real problem in a group setting. This will have many benefits. One, the students are engaged with the community. They learn the real issues. They work in the project, so they understand how to complete the project, work with the adults, and find good solutions which can uplift the entire community and ultimately help in nation building. It's a tremendous opportunity, and I can put it in context. My both sons, while they were in high school between grade 8 through 12, they did between 300 to 400 hours of community service to enter the top colleges like Stanford, Berkeley, etc. So these are the requirements to enter the colleges and universities at the undergraduate level. India, we can do the same thing. We can learn some good practices by engaging our students who are wasting their time. Instead, their weekend, 2 hours every weekend, which is not asking for too much, to get them engaged in the community service. So excellent point to connect with the community. Thank you, Professor. Okay, one more person. One more faculty if they are interested in bringing up the issue. Otherwise, we can keep moving. Anyone else? Dr. Joshi ji, please come in.
Sir, one of the major problem I think in Uttar Pradesh especially is self-finance courses, because 5 to 10% courses only are receiving the grants from the government. Rest of the courses managed and run by the management, and they are not able to maintain the laboratory, library, computer facility, and other necessary requirements which are required at undergraduate and postgraduate level.
Okay, so the issue is lack of resources. So you need to have your management working this issue with the administrator and the regulator. One. Secondly, think about engaging the industry. Invite them to be part of the solution. Tell them what the problems are. And if they get connected, because they are the one ultimately receiving the output from your colleges and universities to work at the industry. So it's in their interest to get connected. So you look at all the big companies here, they get invested in working with the colleges by donating their equipment, donating the money and the time of their people to come in and help build the goodwill. So it's the outreach one needs to create, work with the industry, bring in your expert alumni to come in and bring some resources, because you may not have all the resources at your disposal. So you have to work on multiple angles. Ask your administration to find the resources and also reach out to industry and alumni. And we need to be thinking out of the box. I think that's one message I would really like to drive home. We just think about one way only. No, multiple options, and keep working, and ultimately things will work out. Thank you.
So
Dr.
government must raise the budget in education sector as per the recommendation of Professor D.S. Kothari recommendation. There must be at least 10% of the total budget should be invested in higher education and
Yeah,
research.
NEP talks about 6% of the GDP, and we are nowhere there. So that's a major challenge, and you are bringing up the right issue, Dr. Singh. That needs to be addressed by the government. I think you and I, we cannot solve that problem, but that's the issue. Let me allow Dr. Joshi ji. He has raised his hand for a while. So Dr. Joshi, come in, please. Kindly unmute and share your thought. You are muted. Dr. Joshi. Okay. Dr. Alam.
Sir, I think there is one problem of the language, because up to class 12, most of the students are studied in local language, and in higher education, they are just shifting to this English medium. So there is a weak link between this transformation.
Yes, you hit on the right point, Professor Alam. I went through the same thing. I studied in my mother tongue, Gujarati. I come from state of Gujarat. And first 2 years, at least in the very first 6 months when I joined in Mumbai, the Khalsa College, studying science and mathematics, I had to work doubly hard first to understand English, because otherwise all the professors who were teaching in the classroom, everything was going above the head. Could not figure out one thing or the other. So first I had to learn English, but my foundation was very solid. So when you learn in a native language, in your own mother tongue, your knowledge is solid. All you need to do is understand English, pick it up, and then continue the learning process. So that challenge is there, and I think most of us overcome that challenge, but you have to allocate some time for it and work on it. So thank you so much for bringing that issue. And of course, NEP 2020 allows for learning in many different languages in your own mother tongue as well. And I can share with you that working with RKDF University in Ranchi in Jharkhand, they have translated courses in 5 native languages in their region. And Dr. Joshi also mentioned about several languages they are working on to convert from English to the native languages in the state of Uttarakhand. So there are examples which we need to follow and learn from it, how they did it and what can we do to use the local languages to propagate the knowledge system and the knowledge we need to impart to our students. Okay, if you allow me, there is one more question, Dr. Lobo, and then we'll move forward. Dr. Lobo, come in, please.
Good morning, sir. One problem that we face is the syllabus. We're in a management course, and the industry says what they learn is very much redundant as compared to what is happening currently in the industry. So bridging the gap between industry and academics is a challenge we face.
Yes, and how would you solve it?
What we do is we ask them to go on internship. When we have project reports, we encourage internship reports rather than research study reports, because again, they hit to the internet only to find data. So we encourage internship. And like Sister Shipsy mentioned, in our FC course, we have foundation course as a subject. We encourage a lot of community work, as if we make it compulsory for students to work in groups.
Nice, nice. I think it gives them sense of belonging in a team, doing the project and helping the community, which is really wonderful thing you are doing. And in terms of the industry interaction, I made the point earlier that we need to be proactively looking out for experts from the industry, bring them in for special presentations, give them recognition, sort of make them interested in joining the advisory board at the department and at the college or university level. Give them all the respect and recognize them. They will come back with tremendous resources. And of course, if the faculty is up to date in terms of what's happening in the industry, they can bring in the input while you are updating your curriculum as well. So that's also the obligation of both the faculty as well as administration to be on the lookout of what the industry is looking for by making the engagement. You can have a roundtable conferences with the industry people, bring them in and tell them what they are looking for and how can the curriculum be updated by inviting them to join on the joint curriculum development program, etc. So opportunities are endless. We just need to be creative and get to bring them in, listen to people and take action. So thank you very much. And let me go back to the presentation at this point. And every time I change the presentation, I'm not going back to the same place.
Dr. Manu, can I just have, can I add one point here? Just
Sure, Dr. Joshi, come in.
As far as this community services is concerned, I would like to ask my participant, is any state adopted this community services in their curriculum? Because we are having participants from various states. So any state, can please give me any input regarding this, this community services, whether they have included in their curriculum under this NEP? Yeah, Anita ji, Dr. Anita.
Yeah. Sir, I come from Tamil Nadu. I'm not speaking on behalf of the entire state of Tamil Nadu, but our institution, which is Lady Dog College, Madurai, since the late 90s, we have service learning courses which are part of our academic curriculum. And service learning is a pedagogy where the students will learn in class, and whatever they learn in class, they go back into a community, apply it, and come back to the classroom and do a process of reflection. And as of now, since the past 8 years, we have a mandatory community engagement research project for all our final year undergraduate students. So we have about 1,000 students every year going out into various communities according to their subjects. Like chemistry students doing water quality management. So they test water levels at different communities and bring it back to the lab and then go back to the community and tell them the quality of their water. We have physics students doing pollution checks. We have zoology students doing health, women and health. We have math students doing statistical analysis of socioeconomic situations. So a variety of projects like this we've been doing, sir. So for us, this community service as an institution is something that we are already doing a lot.
Oh, great,
Yeah.
Dr. Adita. So you kept some credit for these community-based courses, or it is just they have to pass it out, or put some credit, cut some credit also?
It actually creates we call it Life Frontier Engagement, and we have based it on the Capstone project model of some universities in the US. So it is now at present a 6 credit bearing course.
Thank you,
So they earn 6
Thank you,
credits.
Dr. Now over to Dr. Manu. Thank you, Dr. Manu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'll give you a very quick example from the state of Tamil Nadu itself. There is a Great Lake Institute of Management where I have taught for a number of years. They have a Karma Yoga project for MBA students. Every weekend, they bus to 23 villages surrounding the campus, which they've adopted. And they are required to do compulsory community service project in a team setting, write up a project report, and the credit is given for completing that course. Unless they complete that, they cannot get the degree. So making community service compulsory will focus on the energy of the students and bring in those ideas to solve the community problems. Okay, one more person, Dr. Banerjee has raised the hand very quickly, and then we'll have to keep moving. Dr. Banerjee, come in.
Sir, what about, sir, brain drain? Imparting education from India and going other to the especially IIT grads and all the students who are educated in very good institutes, sir. Any view,
Yeah.
sir?
Yeah, I think, sorry, I've been in the same boat. I got it from my degree from IIT BHU in 1968. As a chemical engineer, I did not have much opportunity at that time. So I had to come out here to US for higher education. I came here as a Tata scholar, and one of the things they expect is finish the education and come back to India. So in my case, I could not come back, but I've been doing my part of the fair share of community service. Like we are running the Blind Foundation for India, raised $6 million to help 2 million blind people in India, because we have some resources and people step forward to solve the issues which are confronting India on a big level. And the last 10 years doing free Gyan Dan on soft skills. So I think that challenge is there, that if we have good opportunity for our students in India itself, which the situation has changed compared to 1968, there are better opportunities. But going outside to get different type of experience, different cultural experiences is great. Now, if they come back, great. If not, if they don't come back, they can bring in the resources like I have been doing. So let's not talk about negative thing only, what positive things they can do while staying away from India as well. And I visited India almost twice a year, teaching, talking to faculty, students, and sharing some of the thoughts and knowledge about things which are happening on this side of the world. So we can bring in resources as a expat and share it freely. And none of these required any money transfer, because we come and we have a love for our nation. We have received so much from India. We want to give back. So that brain drain issue is definitely a challenge, but the solution is create enough opportunity for them so that they don't have to go out. And those small section which goes out, they can be helpful sitting wherever they are in the rest of the world. So that's my take on it, Dr. Banerjee. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, let me keep moving. We have quite a bit of ground to cover, so allow me to get back to the presentation, please. Now we go into the heart of the innovative pedagogy, and I'm sharing with you my personal experience of last 30 years teaching as a adjunct faculty. And my first part of this innovative pedagogy is how do we engage our learners in the classroom. So right from the beginning, my focus was that in my classes, students should be involved in their own learning. And once they learn something, they are required to apply it right away on a live project and share the findings with others within the team and across the team in the classroom. And there is a big focus on peer learning and class interaction. So this simple model of involve, learn, apply, and share can definitely bring the focus of engaging our students by getting them involved in the learning. And major thing is they get excited when they can apply that new knowledge right away on a project, and they learn how to do it, and then they share what's working, what is not working. May I request everybody to go on a mute, please? I keep hearing some background noise. Thank you. So engaging our peers and class interaction, that focus we need to bring in India. In India, generally, I've seen monologue, faculty just giving away the information. Rest of the people are all quiet, and there is a tremendous amount of knowledge sitting in the classroom, the peers. We can learn from peer interactions and classroom learnings. Now, here I want to share with you 12 keys to the kingdom for learners' engagement to create magic in the classroom. And here are the 12 ways I've been using it for last 30 years, and I find them very interesting and important to engage my students. So at the beginning of the start of the topic, I share the importance, why the topic is very important, by showing them the real world application of the topic. And then I ask a student to do a little bit of research about the topic we are discussing. He or she can share that research done and keep rotating them, so everybody gets a chance to do the research and come back. Then I ask some icebreaker topical question at the beginning of the session and keep rotating the students. And at the end of each session, there's a key takeaways gathered from everyone in the classroom for common understanding. Now, Harvard Business Publishing has given nice tips which are shown on 6 through 9. You can conduct a short poll or voting and arrange the role plays as needed. Form small group to discuss a topic and report back to the full class. And I'm very big on putting the teams to work on the projects throughout the semester, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks here. And those teams share their project results. And one can always invite guest speakers to widen the perspectives. Now, 3 last items are the obligation for us as a faculty that we need to deliver the basic concepts and principles. So there is no need for memorization and vomiting by the students. Allow curiosity and innovativeness to flourish in the classroom. And we must replenish our knowledge. We should be at a cutting edge so we can give the best to our students. And if we do that, then we get a gold star. So basically, the idea is, the metaphor is, we as a faculty, if we have done our part well, we know our subject very well, we are up to date, we are a powerful transmitter. But we need to have the receiver, the students, their antenna needs to be tuned up. Unless that part is working, knowledge will not be effectively transferred. So we need to work on both ends. We as a faculty first, and prepare the students to become fully engaged in their own learning. Now, I just came across the latest version from Harvard Business Publishing on education, 26 February. 5 most read articles on student engagement. It's a link article. These 5 areas why your students are disengaged. There are 4 students who have been interviewed from around the world, and they talk about the sort of ineffective practices faculty use to turn off their students. Then nice 10 creative ways to better engage the students. Now, third item is you shouldn't be the only one talking in your digital classroom. Get the students fully engaged, talking and participating. What educators can learn from comedians is to add humor in the teaching. And the last item, our most effective attention-grabbing technique, and that is the storytelling. So when you get the copy of this presentation from Dr. Ritesh Shahji, please click on the link. All these 5 articles are linked. You can learn, when these are short articles, you will be very happy to get some nice tips from there. So now let's do quick takeaways on learners' engagement. 1 or 2 volunteer, and those who have not spoken, I would encourage them to speak because this learning is for everyone. Any new person would like to say something about any good practice they are using to engage students in the classroom, please. Either raise your hand or open the microphone. Okay, Dr. Subodh Kumar, please come in.
प्रणाम सर।
या
विद्यार्थियों को एंगेज करने के लिए बीच बीच में प्रश्नोत्तरी आदि करके, ताकि उन लोगों को भी जो जहाँ जहाँ समस्या है उन सभी बातों को उसके पास है तो समाधान कर दिया जाए। और दूसरा है कि इधर उधर वो लोग जब पढ़ते पढ़ते भटकने लगे तो बीच बीच में कुछ कहानी आदि के द्वारा विद्यार्थियों को समझाने से वो लोग थोड़ा और क्लियर उन लोग को हो जाता है।
Definitely, storytelling is a good way to get them refocus and re-engage. Excellent, Dr. Sahu. Thank you. Raja Jaria, come in. Okay, Dr. Raja, you are muted. Unmute yourself. Yeah, go ahead. Your microphone is not working. If you want, you can put it in the chat box, please. While we are waiting for his chat, Asim Kumar, come in, please.
Good morning, sir. I am Asim Kumar Vadubel. So,
yes,
what I do to engage my students, sometime after 20 minutes of lecture, I told them to write the summary in 1 or 2 sentences. And then I arbitrarily ask anyone to read it. So it works.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, essentially they need to be attentive in the class to what they are learning and then able to write it down in a simple way. Very good idea. Okay.
Hello, good morning, sir. I'm audible.
Yes, go ahead, please, Monisha.
Hello. Sir, in the class, what I do is we just make a small group and then I assign some topics and they come up with the PowerPoint presentation and they just present in the class. And sometimes we also go for a point, debatable. I just give a session and then I just tell them to just go for the, have their own views. So these are the ways through which I do in the class, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice, Dr. Monisha. Raja has put in the chat, we can teach student with practical process. Yes. I think instead of just keep talking about theory, whatever practice you can bring in, that will essentially allow students to be a little bit more engaged because they want to see where this knowledge is getting applied and what's the benefit to them, to the society, and those are the right way to keep them engaged. Okay, One more from Dr. Sinha, try to relate their present study with the future career. Definitely. That's a very good point. Okay, I'm going back to the next segment. Yeah, okay. Anyone else? One quick comment, then we can move. I'm watching time here. I need to manage my time as well. And I have material to cover. So allow me to keep going, and then we'll come back towards the end for any remainder of the questions, please. And I have to pick up some speed now. So I want to focus on effective teaching learning processes. And one of the key tenet of the National Education Policy 2020 is to create motivated, energized, and capable faculties by instilling faculty excellence. So my experience, and specifically during the pandemic, I've been actively engaged with AICTE Atal Academy on their FDPs, and my observation was people come in online, they just sign in, listen to the resource person, and towards the end of 1 week program, they take multiple choice question. If they answer it properly, they get a certificate. If not, they just listen to whatever was transmitted. So since 2016, I've been engaging with the faculty in India at various places. And I want to present a very simple model using the famous acronym CSIR for India, that the faculty needs to learn not in a solo fashion, but in a collaborative way under the scientific guidance of expert resource faculties by doing lots of introspection and reflection. If they do that, their knowledge will be much more relevant, solid, and more retained rather than coming in solo, listen to something, and then when the FDP is over, there's hardly any retention left. So that is the waste of resources by doing the old way of doing things. And again, the big thing is peer learning and class interaction. That should be the part of the faculty development program. And here is the basis for the innovative pedagogy. So I come from the industry, as I mentioned, with 18 years experience. And one thing my observation was that in industry, success came from teams. No matter how smart one person was, unless they work in the team in the work setting, solution or the results will not be fully optimal. So I started simulating my classes to become collaborative, that is team-based, experiential, this is where they have to work on a project. So teams are formed to work on a project. Experiential, where they read between 8 to 10 state-of-the-art articles from the top journals like Harvard Business Review, MIT Sloan Management Review, McKinsey and Company, etc. And they write up a short 2-page summary, which I'll share in the next slide. And last one, the outcome base. That is, they have to prepare a reflection journal with the focus on implementation. And I'll share a template on that as well. And I'm very happy to share that for the 22-23 cycle, 2022-23 cycle, AICTE Atal Academy adopted this method of innovative pedagogy, of collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based, where 200 faculty development program, each with 50 participants. So 10,000 faculties are learning in a different way for AICTE Atal Academy FDPs. So we read a lot of articles, but the retention at the end of the day is not much, and it gets mixed up because we read so many things. So to improve the retention of the article which we have read, I have a very simple 2-page article summary template. So they read the article on an individual basis, then in the team setting. And collectively as a team, they prepare a 2-page summary by having a one lead person who will get input from everyone and write 3 to 4 bullets on key principles and practices from the article. Middle part is the most important, the application of principles and practices by bridging the theory with the practice. Each person write their name and bring in their experience from the past for the current work function. And lastly, for the team, key takeaways, 3 to 4 bullets. By allowing them to write in a simple but succinct way, 2 pages only per team, forces them to think more clearly, and this will allow them to retain the knowledge from that article because they are picking up the nuggets. Reflection journal with the focus on final outcome from the program. So they identified 3 key learnings, and by the way, this is only 1 page on the last day in the bullet form. 3 key learnings, outcome from the course. 3 key lessons they will implement. Those are the concepts and implementation plan for 3 key lessons. By collecting this input at the very last session, forces them, the students, to start thinking about what they have learned and how they can apply them when they are back at the workplace. And this template has also been adopted by AICTE Atal Academy for all the 22-23 FDPs. Now we'll pick up some speed here, average versus gifted teacher. The average teacher will explain the complexity, but the gifted teacher will reveal the simplicity. So if you want to become the gifted teacher, we understand, learn the material well, keep it as simple as possible so that the concepts can be conveyed and people get it. In Sanskrit, there are many forms of teacher. Start with sharing information, that's adhyapak. Knowledge added, become upadhyay. When you share skills, you become acharya. When you share insight, you are pandit. When you share visionary thinking, you become drishta. And ultimately in life, when you deliver your wisdom, you become the guru. So faculty should educate students by engaging, energizing, entertaining, and empowering them. And I use each and every lever available to you as a faculty. So what's the role of a faculty? Their role is to engage by doing group activities and peer learning, excite them by showing the importance and application of the topic, empower them by providing relevant resources, and ultimately challenge each and every one of them to find their own solution. We do not do any favor as a faculty to students by giving away the solution. We need to challenge them by doing all the 3 previous things: engage, excite, and empower. Kindly stay muted, please. I have a couple of slides and then we'll take some interaction again. So here I want to share with you the great work done at AICTE in terms of Atal Academy FDPs. So in 2019-2020, about 190 FDPs offline, 10,000 people, 10,000 faculties across India got the certificate. During the pandemic, online mode, 948, 2020-21, 165,000 attended, 115,000 got the certificate. And that was based on MCQ and the attendance requirement. 21-22, over 1,500 FTPs online, 242,000 faculties across India benefited, 165,000 certificates were given out. So during 22-23 FDP redesign committee, I was honored to be part of the members. There were 5 members working with Dr. Professor Mamta Rani Agarwal, Advisor 1 at AICTE Atal Academy. 200 FDPs were chosen with the online and offline mode. Total 10,000 faculties benefiting. Focus on quality over quantity by improving teaching learning processes. As I mentioned, collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based model. Focus on learners' engagement. The things we discussed early part of this presentation on the learners' engagement were integrated in the FDP requirements. Updated eligibility for coordinator, co-coordinators, and the attendees, because people were signing up but not attending. Less than 50% or 40% attendance in all those online FDPs. So now the department head or the director or the deans will make the sort of a appointment for the people to join the FDP, engage eminent resource people, academic, industry, alumni. Coordinator checklist was created to make life easy for the coordinators. We talked about research journal articles, 2 for basic, 3 for advanced, 3 to 4 for advanced FDP or leadership FDP, 3 to 4 articles. Collaborative learning in the team, doing the articles, visiting the industry, doing a live project, and reflection journal. That's a learning outcome. Kindly stay muted. I still hear some noise, please. And there was orientation session in July to focus learning on innovative pedagogy and assessments. And those assessments I'll be sharing have been part of the now Atal Academy FDP as well. I want to quickly highlight my education contributions in the India scene, member of the AICT NEP Implementation Plan Committee 2020, delivered 48 sessions at Atal FDPs 21-22, expert peer-reviewed quality of 68 Atal FDPs in 21-22, and redesign committee resource person for soft skill program we ran at my alma mater, IIT BHU in Varanasi. The link is shown with 6 sessions. YouTube combined views are at 91,000 at this point, almost approaching a year. And a resource person for soft skill program in the last 10 years, 1.1 million students, faculty, and professionals have benefited. So we'll take one volunteer in the interest of time to talk about the teaching learning process. If you have some experience doing some innovative thing, you can kindly come in. One volunteer. I'm just trying to manage the time for the rest of the session. Any volunteer? Okay, Asim Kumar, please come in. You have to unmute and please speak. You are muted. Ashim Kumar. Okay, not able to see. Anyone else? This is the crux of the matter. If we as a faculty can improve our teaching learning process, we'll be more effective and we'll be able to better transmit the knowledge to our students. Okay, looks like people are either shy or they will probably ask the question later. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving in the interest of time, because one thing I don't like is to stretch my session because there is a next program lined up already. And time management is key. Okay, now I come to my favorite subject, soft skills in the curricula. So if we see here, all the executives and the surveys done, more than 90% of the executives are clamoring for better soft skills in the people they are hiring at the workplaces. The last bullet is very important to focus on. The survey of employers shows that the ability to work in a team is the most desirable attribute of the new college grad, ahead of problem solving or analytical and quantitative skills. So here is a mismatch. Industry and the workplace is looking for soft skills. What we as academic institution and higher education institutes are providing is totally leaving aside few places. There's absolutely zero focus on soft skill in the curricula. So soft skills should become part of the curricula. And I'm talking specifically that if you are a scientist or an engineer, you do the project throughout your life. In order to do project well, one need to have foundation in leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, problem solving, and then ultimately you can do a good project management. you cannot just go ahead and have the great project management without integrating other things we talked about. Those are the part of the soft skills. And I've been teaching project management at one of the top university here at Northwestern. For the last 15 years, I have a new session starting, and my sessions are totally collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based. No exams, and I'll talk about it in the assessment coming up. So I've been teaching executives since year 2000 in India and 2006 onwards in the academic setting in business schools and engineering colleges in various parts of India. I come across brilliant minds. They all focus on hard or technical skills and overlook the soft skills. So to address that issue, started with the Leadership Excellence series of 12 topics, 6 items shown in blue as a soft skills, and 6 items shown in red, which is my area of expertise on quality management. We experimented these at my campus, IIT BHU, my alma mater, with the help of Training and Placement Officer, Professor Anil Kumar Agrawal ji, and completed this work using Google Hangout, which was free at that time, and they were able to allow us to record it. And American Society for Quality India office as the program listed. Link is shown here. In the early part between 2013 to 2016, we were able to reach 675,000 people by expanding the program to 100 colleges and universities throughout India. And currently we are tracking 1.1 million people who have benefited. And by the way, I've given the proposal for 6th session to Professor and Dr. N.K. Joshi ji, the Honorable Vice Chancellor at Kumaon University, to start the program on a pro bono basis to empower the students and faculties at the Kumaon universities. Hopefully we'll be lifting it in the month of April and bring it to a close in May this year. So I wanted to share with you, this was a round 3 of soft skill program at IIT BHU. Professor Anil Kumar Agrawal was very kind to engage 6 students to set up a committee which did tremendous amount of work, and we got lucky where AICTE and Atal Academy were partners with us, and they opened up this entire program nationwide. And Alma World London was also collaborating, and State of Uttarakhand was part of the program, where my good friend Dr. Rakesh Kumar, IAS officer, Chairman of Public Service Commission, was engaged in this program. And 6th session, the topic I already mentioned: leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, project management, and career development guidance, which can use first 5 topics to put it in action, how to manage the career throughout the life. 6 session links are there, and overall all 6 sessions are covered at the website Training and Placement Cell of IIT BHU, which has the presentation video recording as well as the presentation PDF files as well. And these are all synergistic topics. The effectiveness of the program was determined by students attending from the campus. Overall 99.5% satisfaction, learning new concept 98.7%, and applicability in study and work 96%. And the reach of the program was wonderful, 91,000 combined views from all 6 sessions. So on 18th of March 2016, I was visiting India, and Swami Nikhilesh Anandji is shown in the middle top right picture from Vadodara Center of Ramakrishna Mission. He has moved to Rajkot as Adhyaksh. He took me to Gandhinagar Bisect Studio, where Commissioner AJ Shah, he is now retired, in the white shirt, gave me 45 minutes to talk about effective time management, where via satellite we connected with all 450 colleges of Gujarat, and 5 lakh or 500,000 students and faculty benefited. The entire program was professionally recorded and the YouTube link is shown. So those of you who have further interest on this important time management problem, time management issue, they can get some nice tips on that topic. Now, soft skill training, I've been honored to teach faculty over the last 10 years in 17 states and 3 union territories, and to the students in 14 states and 3 union territories. And the list keeps on adding. And it's an honor and a privilege to pass on the knowledge about soft skill to faculty and students in India to empower them to be the best they are capable of being. Our project was awarded the D.L. Shah Quality Award by the Quality Council of India at their 11th National Quality Conclave in New Delhi on 20th of August 2016. My wife was traveling with me and the organizers holding the plaque. And then the rest of them are the members of the team from American Society for Quality. So let's take 1 or 2 key takeaways on soft skills in curricula. This is very, very important and it's a big gap in our teaching in India. Who wants to come in? If you have done something on soft skill at your college or university, kindly raise your hand or open the microphone and share your thoughts, please. Anyone? Yeah, seeing the silence, it means the gap is there. We all need to think about working on this gap, convincing our management, administration to focus on the soft skills which are needed. Okay, there was a question from Dr. Barua. What is talent management? Talent management is managing the talents of all your people by first getting the right people in the door and then making them, giving them some ability to interconnect, teamwork, meeting management, etc. Then give them opportunity to be recognized by motivation and then develop them by training, feedback, etc. Okay, Dr. Muktiji, you want to say something about soft skills from your perspective, from your experience, please?
Just add that the importance is being realized, that how it is important, and particularly when we talk about the soft skill, often we relate with the English language. And language itself, for many of us in this terrain of our country, is new. And as we learn it and how we learn it when it softly, and how to use it in a desired fashion. So still, I think unexplored things and a long way to go for us. And we need support people like you who are there to help us. Just to find out the avenue is very important.
Sure. Yeah, I think understanding the need for it and then working on filling the gap, I think that's the key to success at the end of the day. And it's definitely needed. And without that, students are not going to get good placement. And even if they get the placement, they are not able to hold it. So the unemployment issue is mainly due to lack of soft skills. I think there are several chat coming in, so let me read it. Dr. Sujan Sinha, what is interpersonal skill? So interpersonal skill is ability to work with other individuals in a collaborative way. So if you are going to be working, whether it's academic or in the industry, you have to understand each other's perspective and then share your expertise and work on a team in a most collaborative way. And more smoothly, you can work with others by understanding their viewpoints and able to connect with others and bring the results. That's the interpersonal skills. And we all can improve upon our interpersonal skills because that's the way to success. So, Anita ji, our university imposed the curricula and we have to follow it. Then what can we do? Yeah, I think this is where there needs to be a dialogue between faculty and administration to see what the needs of the day are and how can we realign our curriculum without adding more things to it. What can we take out and what can we keep, which is most relevant? And this is where boldness is needed and faculty needs to speak up and let the administration and the leadership know where the gaps are and understand the situation and try to do the best thing for the university or the college. Yeah. Okay, Mukti ji, come in.
Yeah, just I wanted for the interest of everyone, I wanted to tell that I am Bangalore on Swamp platform gives a very good program by Rakesh Gowani, which I think excellent in providing a soft skill training. I think if any one of us is interested, we can really join and learn from there.
Yeah, and I think the key is the resources needs to be used properly. And ultimately, you need to create your own internal resource by train the trainer approach. Empower some faculties who have interest in this subject. They can learn from the experts and then keep propagating that for your entire university and rest of the population. Because you can't send it out and take the training. So you need to pick few people who are open, who are more like a thought leaders and willing to learn something and bring that back inside the university. And that I think will definitely help. Okay, anyone else very quickly on this issue? It's a very critical issue. Don't see anyone jumping in, so let's continue with the assessment part. And this is where I think the situation in India needs to change. So continuous comprehensive assessment, which has now become the part of AICTE, Atal Academy, FDPs as well. And I'm sharing with you my 30 years of academic experience that in order to continue to assess the learning by my students and the learners in the classroom, I don't need to conduct any exams. And this is the curse we have in India. Exams and more exams. And that is serving nobody anyway at all. It puts undue stress on students, parents. A lot of resources are taken away by the coaching centers, and faculty just engage in creating question paper, grading them, and outcome practically is zero. I've taken so many exams in my first 22 years, at least 17 years of my education in India. I don't remember a single question which has any application in real life. So it was total waste in terms of the exams. The knowledge or the material and the pedagogy and information I received, a lot of it has been useful, but giving exams did not add anything more to my knowledge at all. It was all memorization and vomiting type of exercise. So once I have my student engaged and to increase the further engagement, I use these 5 different areas for effective assessment. One is the discussion board on an individual basis, which carries 25% weight. Articles or case reading we show earlier. Discussion and summaries is on a team basis, and there is an individual component as well, 30%. Team project report, entire team gets the same grade as long as they work collaboratively and make contribution, 20%. Team project presentation 20% using the template I provide, and a reflection journal on individual basis 5%. So discussion board, I use it with one question for every week where topic is under discussion. There will be a relevant question on the discussion board where students have to make a first post within 2 days as soon as it opens. And then by the 5th day, they have to put in input to 2 of the classmates. So the idea is we want to learn from the students' perspective, each other's perspective, and enhance the knowledge, peer learning, interaction, etc. And my role as a faculty is to continue the thread by asking them some questions so that they can bring in their specific experiences, what has worked, what has not worked. Article case reading, we went through it at a very high level, 8 to 10 state-of-the-art articles, and they read it individually. Then they are in the team setting, and each of the teams then focus on 3 things. We discuss key principle practices, bridging the gap between theory and practice, and key takeaways from the article. And this method of reflective learning and writing succinct summary will improve the knowledge retention from the articles. So in general, I've seen, and particularly in India, there is a tendency to write a lot of things, big write-ups, more like creating mini theses. You don't need that. Now, the best thing is when you write in a simple but succinct way, that means it requires you to think and focus on what are the essential things from the article. And that is the way to learn and retain the essence of the article. Team project, very simple, 3 to 5 students per team. And here we have small classes. Of course, I have taught in India at Great Lakes with 110 to 120 students, and there still we are able to do the projects with the 10 to 12 students per project. I share variety of templates. So I provide a structure and they do their creative thinking to solve the project, work on the project, and within the semester, they finish it. There are status reviews, reports generated, and then they present it in the full class, and I allow the other students, those who are not on this team, while a team is making presentation, others are allowed the peer evaluation, because once they join the workforce, they will be asked to provide comment on others' work as they move up in the hierarchy. In reflection journal, we talked about 3 key learnings, 3 key lessons, and a plan to implement those 3 key lessons. So essentially, it is recapping the course and journey of implementing the new learnings. So I want to stop sharing here, and then we'll have the last segment on NEP 2020. So anyone has a quick comment or a question on continuous comprehensive assessments? Okay, Pallavi Upreti, please come in, Pallavi.
Sir, actually, I want to ask about your presentation on continuous comprehensive assessment. Sir, it is easier said than done, because, you have to engage the students all year round, and then, teachers are mostly in India.
You become, you're on a mute now. Unmute, please.
And then teachers in India are generally overburdened also in terms of administrative duties and everything else. So how do we maintain the quality when we are talking about comprehensive continuous assessment? And then we are talking about soft skills also. So there is a lot, what we have to cater in a year. So, sir, how do we go on that?
Yeah. So I think it's a matter of priority, right? What is important? What we are doing currently? What can we offload? What can you get rid of? So that critical thinking has to be done at the institute level with the faculties and administration working hand in hand. That's the first order of business. Then understand what are the priorities coming from the industry. Industry requires soft skills. Secondly, how do we know that your students and learners are learning? How can they demonstrate that what they have learned, they're able to put it in practice by doing a live project? And keep in mind, you hit it hard on the key point that faculty has to work really hard to do this continuous comprehensive assessment. It's not easy. So when my course is ongoing, I'm fully, and my courses are online now here at Northwestern University. Before the pandemic, somebody got the idea to convert the entire program online. So my class for 10 weeks is totally online, but I'm fully engaged during the week to work with my students, give them feedback, continue to make sure they are learning and able to apply, and whatever things are not happening, try to give them the right input so that they can move in the right direction. So work is on the part of the faculty. There is a lot of work needed to be done. So answer to your question very simply, reprioritize what you are doing, work with the faculties and administration as a group together, understand the priorities from the workplace where the students are going to go and join, realign everything. This is a hard thing to be done, and this could become the part of the strategic plan for the coming year, 2 years, 3 years, and gradually start changing the way you are doing things. Rather than doing many things, focus on doing the right things and what are the important things. And if I was the part of the faculty or the administration, I would take it more seriously because gaps are big. Unless you work in a proper way, it is not going to be solved. Go ahead, Pallavi.
Sir, while I totally agree with the ideological perspective of comprehensive continuous assessment, if it is done in a proper manner, but in India, specifically in schools, if you see teachers are so overburdened, at the last moment it just becomes about fatafat karke khatam kar dete hain isko, something of that kind of attitude. And वो इतना overburdened हैं teachers in that context that they just want to get over with this because it is so continuous. It is not a matter of a day or two. It is continuously moving for the entire year for all the classes they are dealing with. So I think it's more of a qualitative challenge, sir, how to keep up with it.
Yeah, and see all the problems, there are no easy solution. You have to start somewhere and start making a difference. And as mentioned early on, journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So a single step of doing the comprehensive analysis of what is working and what is not working is required, part of the strategic plan. And then be very truthful. What is working and what is helping, skip it. What is not working, what is not helping, remove it. It requires the leadership and the boldness of changing things, because if you keep doing the same thing, don't expect any other changes or any other different results. So we'll leave it at that in the interest of time. It's a work students, the faculty and the administration has to done in a collaborative way. And unless you speak up, you are going to be suffering as a faculty to carry the load, doing a lot of unnecessary things. And outcome is not there. There's no value add at the end of the day. So those of you who have a quality management discipline, is a non-value added thing we are doing, which has absolutely zero impact on the things you are imparting to your students, things you are doing for the institute, nothing. It's just because somebody started it, it's getting done on a routine basis without thinking why we are doing it. Those days are over. We are in the knowledge economy. We need to challenge things which are not helping the institute. Okay, one more question or comment. I believe, Dr. Anita, you had a question or you had raised your hand.
Yes, sir.
Any thoughts?
When you do team projects, you had mentioned team projects where they get assessed for their teamwork. How do you handle group loafing, sir? Some of them don't do anything. So if there are 5 people in a team, 3 will work, but 2 will not work. In those cases, how do you handle them?
Yeah, good question. So what I do is, first of all, I have a structure for the team. So there is one leader assigned, and they themselves decide who the leader is. Role of the leader is to keep the team going and get the final outcome as desired in the time frame. Secondly, there is a communicator who will communicate with me as a sponsor of the project. Only one person communicates, not everybody. So if whatever they want to communicate with me as a faculty come through the communicator only. One researcher, one editor for the project report, and one editor for the project presentation. So 5 people, each one of them have the specific roles and responsibilities. And ultimately, when the project is over, I quickly do a check-in with the team leader. Did everyone play their position right on a timely basis, or somebody was doing double the work and somebody was loafing off? And that input is collected, and unless they all work on their own positions, the grade, if they work all collaboratively, grade is same for the entire team. If 1 or 2 people have sort of gone off and not done any work, their grade is different, 1 or 2 level down. So you need to be fully engaged with the team, and it can be assessed by checking in about 2 to 3 status report over 6 to 8 weeks or 10 weeks of program. At that time, you can really find out by seeing where the program is, where the project is going. Are they really working, or they are struggling to get the things together? That means there is some teamwork, group dynamics issue. So you need to be on the lookout, be vigilant. Okay, one more question, then we have NEP part, and then we'll bring in with the final closing questions. And I'm very thankful that those of you who are taking time to ask questions and provide comments is very helpful for everyone. And I'm also learning as well. Okay, anyone else on this assessment issue? Is big thing. We have wasted so much time on the exams. So if we can change it, it'll be nice. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody was speaking. Okay, Dr. Boro, come in. Dr. Boro. Okay. Okay, Dr. Vinit, come in.
हेलो
Yeah, go ahead.
सर नमस्ते सर
नमस्ते।
मेरा जो पॉइंट है सर वो ये कि जो सेमेस्टर सिस्टम और जो एनुअल सिस्टम हमारे यहाँ था सर, पहले एनुअल सिस्टम, अभी सर हम लोग उसको सेमेस्टर सिस्टम पे लेके गए, तो उसकी वजह सर कंटिन्यूसली जो एग्जामिनेशन का जो लोड है स्टूडेंट्स के ऊपर और फैकल्टी के ऊपर जो है करिकुलम को कंप्लीट करने का जो लोड रहता है सर, इसके पार्ट पे मेरा ये जानना है कि इस चीज को सर इंस्टीट्यूशनल लेवल पे या जो रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटीज है उस लेवल पे इसको सोल्व किया जा सकता है सर?
Yeah, so I can tell you whether it's semester system or a yearly system, unless you have a good continuous comprehensive assessment, things are not going to work. And I studied in the 1-year system, 9 months, right? 13 subjects. If you fail in one, you stay behind for a year and repeat the year. Compared to that, semester system is better in a way. You're clearing 5 subjects and moving on, so that you don't have a load of 13 subjects for the 9 months. So what happens if you get sick towards the end, then you are going to miss out on a year, 1 year, etc. So semester system is definitely preferable. And I'm currently in a situation where it's a quarter system. And in business school, I've seen 6 week, 1 quarter, 6 weeks. Online classes, yeah. So 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, or 16 weeks. That's the spectrum.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I think the key
one thing more, sir. सर जो अभी आपने कहा कि जो इफेक्टिव असेसमेंट्स हैं इफेक्टिव असेसमेंट के सर जो पॉइंट्स के बारे में आप डिस्कस कर रहे थे, तो हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल to implement these effective assessment points in a semester system while we have a very short period of time?
Yeah, so for last 30 years, I've been implementing it in all my classes, whether it's 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, or 16 weeks. It doesn't matter, because what you are going to do is shrink the number of articles. If it is 16 weeks, then there are 10 articles. If it is 8 weeks, then there are 6 articles. So things like that, you have to make minor adjustment, but the rest of the basic things will remain same. The quantity will change, but the foundation is still the same.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
I hope it makes sense. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, so Dr. Boro, we see in our locality the rate of dropout student is increasing. So let me open these. Okay, so rate of dropout of students increasing day by day. They say that CBCD system exams are taken very frequently. How to motivate students to tackle this problem? Yeah, so I think this exam thing is sort of hurting people's morale also. Those who are not good test takers, they get discouraged. Some of the people who are good test takers, but they don't have much knowledge when they pass out, that's also a disservice, because when they join the workforce, they are not able to deliver. So this is a national issue. I think we need to have a national dialogue on reducing the load on the exam and replace it with continuous comprehensive assessment. Sooner we do it, will free up the resources and creativity of our students. And at the end of the day, we have to ask the questions, what's the outcome? Are we helping them or are we hurting them? And my answer is very simple. Exams are not doing any favors to anybody else. It's just one way for us to pass time and feel satisfied that, yeah, we have done our part to move people from one level to the other level by throwing at them multiple choice questions, test their memory power, and move on and do our things because we are under stress. So that is where we are. I don't think I can solve the problem. I can offer the simple ideas which I have been using for 30 years, which is working well for me. And particularly here as a senior faculty, they give me respect and don't force me to take any exams. And by the way, I don't use any curve also. If they all work very hard and I make sure my students are working hard to learn what they are required to be learning in my classes, I'm very flexible in terms of giving them better grades. And at times, if everybody does well, they all get an A. And institutes do not question me as a faculty why I gave all the A's. And if they don't do the work, they get the different grade. So I think the question is, are we engaged as a faculty to make sure our students are learning? And are they able to apply? Because my point is, I'm sharing with them some knowledge which is relevant and practical. Are they able to take that knowledge and put it in practice by working on a project? If they can prove it by doing the project well and good, then they are able to get the best grade they are capable of. If not, then there is an issue and their grade is adjusted downward as appropriate. Okay, I have a last segment, so allow me to go back on the NEP 2020 and its most important segment. So let's focus on it. And I have a short YouTube as well, so really want to keep moving. So my question is, how many of you have read the 66 pages of National Education Policy, July 29, 2020? It was approved by the central government. When we come back for interaction, I'll ask that question one more time. So the implementation, and I was very fortunate to be invited by Professor Anil Sasabuddeji, who has now moved on from AICT as the chairman. So I was sending some email communication to him asking about, we have a wonderful NEP 2020 policy, but what's happening on the implementation side. So he invited me to join the last committee he chartered with 9 outstanding educationists from various parts of India. It was an honor to work with them. And Colonel Venkat, who has now moved on, was the one coordinating the work of the committee. And the committee worked on 9 major areas, and I'll focus on my work done at the item number 5, motivated, energized, and capable faculty using collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based learning to improve teaching learning process. The work of the committee was published by the Skill Outlook on 29 January 2021, and the committee's goals were put together for short-term 1 year 21. This was work done in October 2020, midterm 4 years 22 to 25, and long-term 26 to 35, last 10 years. Now, next 2 slides are extremely critical. So 2.5 years have passed, and from my experience looking at what's happening at various parts of India, and I've been in contact with a number of universities, specifically at the VC level or the director level, and try to understand what's happening on implementing NEP 2020. I see the lack of a sound structure to implement NEP. There is hardly any engagement of alumni and industry expert we talked about early on. A strategic plan is not created, and hardly there is any communication. Most of the time, Dean R&D inherits the project. He or she, generally he, go on a sideline, engage maybe 1 more faculty, and they do some work, report upward, and the rest of the institute has no idea what's going on for NEP 2020. Now, the 4th item is a big issue. There should be a seamless transition from K through 12 school system to HEI. Otherwise, there's a gap at the interface. And I don't see a uniform approach to implement NEP throughout the higher education institutes. Generally, it's a shotgun approach. People who would like to work on certain things, they'll work on it and then declare the victory, saying we are done with NEP 2020. As we saw early on, there are 9 different major areas, and they need to be worked on until 2035. So it's not a one bullet with a silver bullet type of thing. There are many things needs to be accomplished for NEP's 2020 completion. Unfortunately, in India, we do not have a culture of sharing success or failure. So everybody falls through the same trap. There's a need for change agent to bring the outside perspectives. We are not conducting enough pilot to understand the real landscape, what's working, what's not working. 9 and 10 are very important, where the leaders needs to be committed, involved, and supportive, and they should be able to understand their role in sustainability and leading the charge of NEP 2020. You cannot delegate it. And as I mentioned, NEP 2020 is a huge project, so it requires project management, and project means something unknown. So risk management is part of this effort, and lack of soft skills among faculties and students is the issue. So to counter some of these challenges, I'm proposing a structure for NEP 2020. You start with the council with the top leader in charge, appoint a faculty who has the expertise and experience and ability to get the work done and bring the results as a champion. Then create 3 major clusters according to an AICTE guidance, short-term, medium-term, and long-term, and create additional sub-clusters as needed. And on each of the cluster, appoint faculty, alum, and industry expert, more like a Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So faculty is like Brahma, alum is like Vishnu, sustaining it, and industry, which provide the role of Mahesh, disruption, what needs to be changed. And they need to be the willing volunteer, create the vision, mission, and value by creating a strategic plan for NEP 2020, and communicate this mission critical strategic plan with everyone, internal and external stakeholders. And I'll be asking a question: how many of you know what's happening for your NEP 2020? Provide relevant training to all stakeholders, project management discipline to monitor the progress, do the quarterly review, use your newsletter and internet to communicate the progress, make all stakeholders accountable for the results, and celebrate the NEP 2020 success as you go forward. So unless you have a structure, you cannot accomplish the project. So this is more like a leading to a project charter and a strategic plan. So NEP 2020 is like going to Mount Everest. To climb the summit, one need to do proper planning, preparation, and training. NEP requires exactly the same focus, laser sharp focus. Transformation or change management has the 3 foundations and 3 pillars of success. The leadership, which will provide direction, and leaders are the one who create and lead the change. Project management is the backbone which will facilitate the change. And talent management are the employees, that is the faculty, staff, everyone fully engaged to implement the change. Dr. Deming's cycle is very instructive to use while you are working on any project with the focus on planning. And Dr. Deming, along with Dr. Juran, went to Japan, sent by US government to rebuild their industrial economy. So any work you do, any project you do, you need 10% excellent plan, but 90% flawless execution. And keep in mind that planning without execution is futile, but execution without planning could be fatal. Now, over the last 40 years, I have seen transformation in corporate, academic, non-profit, professional setting, professional organization, etc., and the government, government of Egypt and government of Turkey. The transformation success comes when 3 C's are working in collaboration. So one is CEO, which is vice chancellor or director or principal at the institute. CFO, that's the registrar managing the finance. What is missing is the CPO, chief people officer. So this is the function of HR in the industry, where the VP of finance works with the CEO and CFO to manage the transformation successfully, where CEO provides the direction, CFO manages the money, but the CPO manages the talent, the right people working on the right issues. So that's one of the things Education Institute needs to think about, to bring in a position of chief people officer. So as a part of the recommendation for NEP 2020 implementation, suggested that there should be faculty development program for leadership and administration on sustainable change management, US Baldrige framework for assessment and importance of community service. The project leads more at the department head or dean level needs to have a training on project management and risk management, and faculties on soft skill program. And there should be collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based. And happy to report that during 2020-21, have delivered each of these except the risk management, these FDPs and career development program for students on soft skills were delivered across number of institutes and various states, specifically from the southern part of India. The key reference is given, and I'm happy to share that article on the same topic, innovative pedagogy and assessment for effective NEP 2020 implementation, is coming in the book, Innovative Learning Educators Blueprint, published by the Higher Education Forum and ITM Business School in Mumbai. Current projection is 17th of March 2023. The book will be unveiled. There are 24 chapters, and my chapter on 5 pages captures the essence of today's presentation. So let's do a little bit of quick takeaways, and then we have a nice YouTube waiting for us. Okay, 2 people have already raised the hand. So let's go with Kinjal first. Kinjal, come in, please. She has not spoken before. Then Pallavi. Oh, she has. Kinjal has left the meeting. Okay, Pallavi, you come in, please. Dr. Pallavi. Unmute yourself and ask the question or comments, your thoughts. Dr. Pallavi. Dr. Pallavi. Okay. She's not opening the microphone. Okay, anyone else? Quick comment on NEP. So let me ask 2 questions. How many of you know that NEP 2020 is being worked on at your institute? Anyone? Are you fully aware?
Pranam, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Subodh.
हेलो
सर अभी जैसे ये एनईपी चालू हुआ है, अभी इसमें हम लोग का सिलेबस चालू हो गया है, तो पहले सिलेबस में हम लोग है तो एक सब्जेक्ट का 18 पेपर पढ़ाते थे, लेकिन अब इसमें देख रहे कि 12 पेपर हो गया है। साथ में वोकेशनल कोर्स आदि भी आ गए हैं, इंटरप्रेन्योरशिप आदि भी आ गए हैं। तो कुछ लोगों का कहना है कि इससे विद्यार्थियों का बौद्धिक विकास भी होगा और वो खुद से अपने आप में जागरूक हो जाएंगे कि हमको फ्यूचर में क्या डिसीजन लेना है। और कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि इसके द्वारा विद्यार्थी है तो चारों तरफ पढ़ते पढ़ते है तो उसको अपने विषय में भी कमाना नहीं हो पाएगा। तो इसमें आपका क्या कहना है?
Yeah, so I think you need to, when you make changes, you need to make sure कि भाई अपने जो concentration है, आपका जो टेक्निकल स्किल्स है उसमें डाइल्यूशन नहीं होना चाहिए। बेसिक जो है that has to be maintained, and then work around to add additional requirement like vocational courses, soft skill program, etc. And don't burden the student too much. So if we offload some of these exam focus, then you can devote that time for delivering the lectures and delivering the knowledge. So that's one way of looking at it. But you cannot dilute your technical focus or the hardcore knowledge focus on the subject has to be maintained. If you do away with it, then your entire program will flop. So that is my take on it. And the second question was, how many of you have seen the progress made by the Institute on a systematic basis, like there is a strategic plan? That strategic plan is shared with everyone, or is it done in a sort of more in a hidden way? 1 or 2 people working on it and nobody knows about it. So any one of you who have seen the systematic rollout of NEP 2020 and seen the focused way of sharing it everywhere, share that information, please, if you have seen it. I have not seen anywhere things getting done in a systematic way. So when we were engaging with the vice chancellor, directors, department head, deans, etc., they were all saying that we have not formed the team. We have not done the things in a systematic way. We are not doing most of the things we are talking about. So there is a gap. And my point is to raise the awareness about how we can do it. And this I've seen from 40 years of my experience, that if you really want to do things right, start with the training. Train the leaders first. They need the training, the VCs, the directors, the principal. Unless they understand the gravity of the situation and their role in it, nothing is going to happen. At 2035, we will ask the same question, where do we start? The time window is closed and we will be in the same boat as before. And this has happened in the past as well. So this is nothing new, right? Many times policies have come, and this is the problem in India. We have good policies, but the execution is always weak. And basic idea is we don't follow project management well. We like to talk, but when time comes for action, there is nobody left to take any action because everybody has moved to second big debate right after the first debate. Okay, I see Dr. Preeti. If you have a question, please open your microphone and ask the question. Dr. Preeti.
Yes, sir. Very good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, we are in our second year of NEP now, but still we are facing a lot of problems and a lot of issues are not yet being resolved by the university as well. Say, for example, there are a lot of subjects in this like major, minor, elective, vocational and all. So we say that a student of science can even choose a subject from commerce, right, or from computers. So in our first year, like one student chose science, 2 subjects of science, for one for major and one for minor, but for vocational he chose tax subject. And then from university it came that it is wrong NEP.
Yeah, one comment I want to make. So when I was doing my master's and PhD in chemical engineering, I had a minor in operations research and mathematics. So if you are studying engineering, then doing business classes is a good idea so that you have balance. And vice versa, if you are in business side or on the other side, away from technology, take few technology courses to understand the real world. And nowadays, the big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, those are the common things. If we at least get the exposure to it, it can help find a good job to start. So I don't see any problem mixing and matching depending on the interest of the students. And I can tell you, when my son, elder one, went to Stanford, he was studying computer science, but he had architecture with art history as his minor. So it allows you to be creative. And if you take only hard courses, then you run out of ideas. But if you want to balance it with your inner drive or inner talent, my son was very good with architecture bent, so he took that minor and it helped him to refocus his energy. So I think we need
to, but just before the exam it came out that this is wrong NEP and you need to change your subject.
Well, that means somebody didn't do the homework right in the front end, right? It should have been brought out in the very first beginning when subjects were chosen, that it's not possible to do it. You can't wait till the last minute because it's not students' fault. It's the fault of the administration at that point. I would put it that way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. I think these are the new areas we need to experiment. And particularly if somebody has done good work in India, that needs to be shared very widely. And that is what I'm seeing, a lack of that. I'm beginning to collect some good information about who is doing what, but we need a national repository of good practices on various aspects of NEP 2020, because it's not a single silver bullet. There's a curriculum, there is a role of faculty, there is a role of ICT, vocational training, Indian languages, knowledge system. So all those areas needs to find the best practices, continue to share it throughout India so that people who are starting out can benefit from it. Okay, we'll take one more question. Then there is a YouTube, and we will get into final question and answer. YouTube is beautiful, so I want to leave it on a high note. Allow me to get back into the presentation.
Sir, I've raised hand. Can I ask question? Like if you...
Just 1 second, please. Yeah, just ask one question.
Okay,
Come in,
sir,
please.
as you are saying that a combination of various subjects and skills, it is good to enhance our creative side, and in a way it is better to make choices in future. Sir, but in context of India, the job profile is very limited when it comes to, you know, creative enhancement of skills, everything is fine. But the kind of jobs we have vis-a-vis the kind of jobs we have in US and other European countries, like you have a professional sleeper kind of a job also in US, and you know, chocolate consultant, itni matlab wide variety type of jobs hoti hai foreign mein to na. So iske context में जब हम creativity की बात इंडिया में करते हैं तो job profile कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बहुत लिमिटेड ऑप्शंस हैं. मतलब आप इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर हो सकते हैं, यू कैन बी अ कॉर्पोरेट लॉयर, डेटा साइंटिस्ट, डॉक्टर्स, इंजीनियर्स, तो अभी भी प्रोफाइल लिमिटेड है अनलाइक. तो क्रिएटिविटी एक पार्ट पे आके कहीं ना कहीं यू नो गोज कैन नॉट गो अलोंग विद व्हाटएवर जॉब यू वांट टू ऑप्ट फॉर. तो सर इसमें आप क्या कहेंगे इन टर्म्स ऑफ एनईपी?
Yeah. So I think the key is, what is your major? That major should be able to find you a good job. The minor is the one where you take few courses of your interest more as a elective for your own personal enhancement, personal benefit. And that should not be the determining factor of finding the job in your field. So with that focus, I think you can still achieve the both objectives of having your major very strong, whichever subject you have chosen. And then you take 2 to 3 courses in the minor area, like I mentioned. For my chemical engineering major, 85% was focused on that. Between the mathematics and operation research, I took classes about 10 to 15% supplement. And some of those things have helped me in my workplace as well, because see, the idea of taking additional courses is to expand the knowledge base and broaden the horizon. Because if you just stay in one track only, that's all you can do. But when you have a broader knowledge, like when I did my MBA after PhD, it opened up a new discipline. And particularly the combination of engineering and business has helped me well, both at workplace as well as in the teaching assignments and things like that. So I think one need to be having an open mind. More you learn, more you can apply in the real place. And the knowledge has no limit, no boundary, right? You can learn from anywhere and everywhere. Okay, allow me now to go to the final YouTube, and then we'll have a question and answers. So please bear with me. My time is quickly, so please. It's a beautiful YouTube by the coach Lou Holtz.
I was born in Fallsby, West Virginia. And I went by where I was born last night about 10:30. I was born in a cellar at home, delivered by Dr. McGraw. We had one bedroom for my sister, myself, and my parents. We had a half bath and a kitchen. 7.5 years we lived in that place. There was no welfare. There was no food stamps. There was no safety net. but I always had plenty to eat. Because every time I asked for seconds, my dad would say, no, you had plenty. But the reason I was born with a silver spoon, my dad had only gone to the 3rd grade. That's all the education he had. But why was I born with a silver spoon in my mouth? Because I was taught by my parents that life's a matter of making choices, wherever you are, good or bad, because of choices you make. Don't blame anybody else, but if you get an education, you're willing to work and overcome problems and difficulties, in this great country, you can amount to something. That's why I was born with a silver spoon. I was in this country and I was taught personal responsibility for choices you make. And when we talk about a commitment to excellence, that's a choice you make. What do you want to do? Having hopes and dreams and ambition. See, I think that is absolutely critical. Don't make the mistake I made. I've done a lot of dumb things, but let me tell you the one thing I regret. We went to the University of Notre Dame. We took a program on the bottom. We took it to the very top. And for 9 straight years, we went to a January 1 bowl, the sugar, the cotton, the orange, or the fiesta. Nobody's done it before. Nobody's done it since. We put it on top and we maintained it. That's the thing I regret the most. See, there's a rule in life that said you're either growing or you're dying. The tree's either growing or it's dying. So's grass, so's a marriage, so's a business, so's a person. Doesn't have a thing to do with age. My birthday candles cost more than a cake. But it has everything to do, am I trying to get better? Am I trying to improve? We got on top and say, you know, this is pretty good. Let's maintain it. Let's not take any risk. We finished 2nd in the country at Notre Dame. Everybody called me an idiot. Guy finishes last in medical school, they call him doctor. That doesn't seem fair. When I left Notre Dame, I never thought I'd coach again. Where'd you go from Notre Dame? According to my mother, you go directly to heaven, you sit by the Pope. You don't coach anymore. And then I went to live in a town where the average age was deceased. And what I found out, I wasn't tired of coaching. You have to have something to hope for, something to dream. And even though you've done great things so far, what's going to happen now? I want to give you a simple plan. Life doesn't have to be complicated. I try to keep life simple. Do you realize there are only 7 colors of the rainbow? Only 7. Look what Michelangelo did with those 7 colors. There's only 7 musical notes. Look what Beethoven did with those 7 notes. There's only 10 numbers. Look what Bernie Madoff did with those 10 numbers. The point I make is it doesn't have to be complicated. See, you need 4 things in your life. If you don't have any of these 4 things in your life, you're going to have a tremendous void. See, everybody needs something to do. Number 2, everybody needs someone to love. Number 3, everybody needs someone to believe in. In my case, is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. But the 4th thing you need in your life is you need something to hope for. There's never a right time to do the wrong thing. And there's never a wrong time to do the right thing. Just do what's right. I think it's right beyond. It's right beyond time. See, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy life. Have fun. You're going to have problems. You're going to have difficulties. That's part of life. And don't tell people about your problems. Do you know that 90% of the people don't care? And the other 10% are glad you got them. So you're better off keeping yourself. You're going to have problems. But have fun with what you're doing. People say, did you have fun doing the ESPN? Not really. Because if you have fun being here, people have fun being around. Doesn't mean I don't do dumb things. And sometimes I wasn't real honest. Do everything to the best of your ability with time allotted. You know, ladies and gentlemen, not all of us be All-American. Not everybody can be first team. Everybody can be the best you're capable of being. And I want to tell you, if you want to fail, you have the right to fail. That's what's great about this country. You do not have the right to cause other people to fail because you don't do everything best your ability. When you join a spouse, you bring a child in the world, you join a business, you join a team. You have obligation, responsibilities, and you owe it to other people to do the maximum you can at each and everything you do. It's not complicated. And the last rule, to show people you care. And you walk in the room, your attitude, hey, here I am, look at me. It's like, no. Your attitude, there you are, how can I help you? I wish I knew those 3 rules when I was 21. I've used them for the last 40 years. There's a statue of me at Notre Dame. I guess they need a place for the pigeons to land, but if you go look at it, just don't look at 3 words on the pedestal. Trust, commitment, love.
Okay, with that, I think we are coming to the close. Please write down 2 key takeaways from this session, and we are open for question. First, let's take a question and then a quick comment about what 1 key takeaway you got from the session. And we have a few minutes left because you have another program starting in about 15 minutes. So please, any question? Anshuman Mishra.
Sir, thank you very much. Sir, one thing I wanted to ask about NEP only is that how long actually you think it is going to take to get implemented in our nation? And as you just mentioned that there are, in due course of time, we may be thinking about the education policy again, because we were not able to implement it nicely. So how to know whether it is getting implemented nicely or perfectly?
Yeah, so 2035 is the mandate. 2020, it got approved, 15 years window to implement all aspects of NEP 2020. So 2.5 years have passed, and the progress is sketchy. And as I mentioned, it's a shotgun approach. People generally have gravitated to curriculum, entry, exit criteria, academic bank of credit, and they kept working on those areas only. There are many other areas needs to be addressed. And unless you have a systematic structure, which I brought up, and unless you understand the challenges, India will not get the best outcome from the wonderful policy. And that is, I think, where the issue is. And every year there is a show and tell going on where VCs gather, give about 3 to 5 minutes what they have done. Everybody clap, have some good, nice food, enjoy. There's no outcome of it. So that is the problem we have. We talk a lot, but we do not assess where we are going. Are we really accomplishing the work we need to be accomplishing? And that is where the challenge is. And I think this requires the leadership to wake up, because unless the leaders are trained, unless they know their responsibility and they take the lead, don't expect any change. And I'm not very hopeful because the lack of leadership, and the leaders are busy with so many things, they don't consider this as a priority. That's my understanding. Unless they take up this as a priority issue and become fully engaged, and they need to be leading the charge, not just delegate it to next level or next level down. It's not going to work. And most of the places I have seen is all delegated, and they are just trying to get some reports out to keep people happy, and that's it. It's a lot of show and tell, window dressing. Actual progress is lacking. Sorry to be harsh, but that's where the reality is.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Shipshi, Catherine, go ahead. Your question. Professor Catherine, come in.
Thank you, sir, for the detailed and informative session. Sir, my question regarding the implementation of NEP 2020. I am from Kerala. Sir, many of the opinion regarding the implementation of NEP 2020, that is include meritorial and controversial aspect. Many of the teachers and citizens are confused with this opinion, because these opinions are created by or interpreted or misinterpreted by the political groups, many cooperatives, and even by the academicians also. Sir, as an academician, what is your personal opinion regarding the implementation of NEP?
Yeah, so let's start with the foundation. Under the leadership of Dr. Kasturi Rangan, a wonderful policy has been put together, 66 pages. Now the challenge is, how do we take that great policy and start implementing it by understanding the guidance from AICTE and the people who have traveled on this path and those who have been successful in working on few things. We need to learn from that. So unless the institute has a right leadership which is enlightened, they are involved, committed, supportive, and leading the charge, don't expect much to come out. That is my full assessment. And they may be doing something bare minimum to get by and fill the paperwork. And this is another problem I have seen in India. We try to do the bare minimum just to meet the compliance issue rather than focus on excellence, which requires to go out of the way to find out best way to do things to benefit the institute. And that kind of thinking is not percolating. There are some exceptions, but most of the places is compliance mode. Do the bare minimum, get by. Unless somebody tells you to do a little extra, don't do it. And that is the common thing I've been watching and sort of chuckling about it at the India level. Here we don't do that. And whenever, at least in my own personal life, don't be satisfied with 8 to 5 jobs. You have to put in extra time and effort to keep learning, have your knowledge replenished, and be useful to the places where they give you the money to have good living. Okay, now we have to watch the time here. I've already gone over by 5 minutes in my time allocated. So Dr. Mukti ji, you have a next session starting in 10 minutes. Do we about 5-7 minutes to continue?
It's okay. We can go for 5 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Let's keep it about 5 minutes because you may need a short break before the next session starts. Okay. Yeah, 5 more minutes.
Yes, we have 5 minutes.
Okay, please continue. Please continue, sir. Please continue.
Yeah.
5 minutes. We'll take a 5-minute break, and then we'll start next session.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, time for one question and then couple of key takeaways, and then we'll close. If somebody has one quick question which can help everybody, please ask the question. If not, let's jump into key takeaway.
You can write your takeaways in the chat box.
Yes, that's the best way. And then,
so really, it was wonderful, and sir has delivered this session in such a wonderful way. The term that you have used, it's not a single silver bullet. So, and just said that the biggest problem that we face, sir, that we go on minimum compliance actually. That is the biggest problem. We don't take it by heart.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, this starts with the leadership, right? If your leader is focused on excellence, then others will learn from it and hopefully do the better things for the institute.
Yes, sir. True, sir. True. That is true.
Yeah. Okay, so I see one trust, commitment, and love. So that's a good one from the YouTube. Okay. Kindly write down your at least one key takeaway. Okay, the nation need to take education seriously, definitely. Live life for yourself. Good interaction with our alumni and students. Work on the soft skill, prioritize the challenges, good ones keep coming. We have 2 more minutes before I sign off. learn, apply, share. Yeah. Okay, motivate students by value-based education. Wonderful. Make the class more attractive to the students. Yes. Life skills and value education. Effective teamwork. Interactive way to engage students in the class. No more rote learning. Make students learn concept-based lessons. Focus on the challenges. Outcome-based teaching practice. Soft skills equally important as academic teaching. Continuous assessment, application-based teaching. Yeah, these are good takeaways. And then not only just writing in the chat box, but take it forward when you are back at the workplace or your institute and keep applying. Not everything will work, but you can make adjustment as you go. Engage students actively rather than passively or the receiver. Okay, industry-oriented teaching, great. Deliver basic concepts. More stuff is coming through quickly. Student to make small groups to work in a team manner. Encourage peer learning among the students. Okay, I think in the interest of time, we'll close the chat box. And
yes, dear Dr. Manu Vora, will you give me a 1 minute?
Sure.
Yes. So at the end of your session, I believe that we all of us here that are participating in induction program, we are really privileged to have you for today's session. As the theme suggested, that innovation, pedagogy, and effective assessment of NEP 2020, and you from your accomplished career, you have done justice to this theme. And with your expertise, your experience, the way you deliver, it was really a very engaging. And that we learn how to be engaged. The pedagogy that you spoke about, that we could see and was reflected in your presentations. And NEP, the concern that you raised, that we day to day, we feel it in our institutions. So thank you so much for really igniting our minds and giving the way forward to trust in our professions and go ahead with the commitment. So thank you so much for your time, for your expertise, and we feel blessed to have you for our session today. A big thank you on behalf of everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Dr.
thank
Mukti, for
you, Dr. Mukti. Yeah, very kind of you.
So thank you once again, sir. Thank you for this really very interesting and thought-provoking address for all for our participants. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So we'll take a short break.
Thank you, Dr. Ritesh.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you, sir. We'll take a break for 10
all the best. All the best to all the attendees, and thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll gather here at 11:40.